In the quiet moments between the chaos, when the world finally stills and you're left alone with your thoughts, what do you hear? What whispers emerge from that silence? For many of us, it's a voice, a familiar, almost comforting critic that says, "You should be doing more. Why are you so lazy? Everyone else manages to keep up. What's wrong with you?" Welcome to A Voice in the Darkness. I'm glad you found your way here tonight. Have you ever wondered why, despite getting enough sleep, eating well, and taking care of your physical needs, you still feel drained? Why the simplest tasks sometimes feel like moving through molasses? Why your to-do list sits untouched despite your best intentions? Society has a simple answer for this: laziness, a moral failing, a character flaw to overcome through discipline and willpower. But what if I told you that you're not lazy at all? What if this exhaustion runs deeper than your physical body, straight to your soul? Tonight, we're exploring a truth many of us feel but cannot name: the difference between laziness and spiritual exhaustion. The myth of laziness. Laziness, as we understand it in our productivity-obsessed culture, is the unwillingness to work despite having the capacity. It's painted as a choice, a moral failing that separates the successful from the unsuccessful, the worthy from the unworthy. But I want you to consider something. When was the last time you genuinely wanted to do nothing? When was the last time your soul craved stagnation? Human beings are naturally driven to create, to connect, to grow. Our ancestors didn't build civilizations, create art, or explore unknown territories because someone forced them to be productive. They did these things because engagement is our natural state. So when you find yourself unable to engage, when you're scrolling mindlessly, sleeping excessively, or staring blankly at that work project, something deeper is happening. The nature of spiritual exhaustion. Spiritual exhaustion isn't about believing in any particular deity or religious practice. It's about the life force within you, what some might call your spirit, essence, or soul, being depleted. This depletion happens when you've been disconnected from what truly matters to you. When you've been running on the hamster wheel of external expectations for so long that you've forgotten why you're running at all. Think about a child at play. Do they need motivation charts and productivity apps to build sandcastles or draw pictures? No. They're connected to their natural curiosity and joy. Their spirit is engaged. But somewhere along the way, many of us lost that connection. We started living for weekend escapes from lives we weren't designed to endure. We began measuring our worth by our output rather than our essence. The origins of our exhaustion. This spiritual fatigue often has roots in our earliest experiences. Consider how children are typically raised in our society. When a young child radiates with excitement and energy, we often hear, "Calm down." When they're moved to tears by something seemingly small, "Don't be so sensitive." When they're lost in creative flow, "Be practical." These messages, received thousands of times throughout childhood, teach us to suppress our authentic reactions, to ignore our internal compass, to distrust our natural rhythms. Family dynamics amplify this disconnection. Perhaps you grew up in a household where your worth was measured by achievements, where love felt conditional on performance, where certain emotions were acceptable while others were punished. Many of us carry these subconscious beliefs into adulthood. I am what I accomplish. Rest must be earned. My needs matter less than others. Is it any wonder that after decades of living from this disconnected place, your spirit feels exhausted? The modern context. Our current world doesn't help. We live in an era of unprecedented stimulation and expectation. Social media feeds us carefully curated images of others' productivity and success. Capitalism reduces our value to economic output. Technology ensures we're always available, always on. Even our leisure has become commodified, another thing to optimize, document, and share. When was the last time you did absolutely nothing without feeling guilty? When did you last allow yourself to simply exist without producing, consuming, or achieving? For many, the answer is never, or at least not since childhood. This constant pressure creates a particular kind of soul sickness, a spiritual exhaustion that manifests as what we mistakenly call laziness. The body knows. Your body is wise. When spiritually exhausted, it will try to communicate this truth to you. That heaviness in your limbs when facing meaningless tasks, your body saying, "This doesn't nourish your spirit." The mysterious ailments that doctors can't quite diagnose, often messages from a neglected soul. The sudden bursts of energy you feel when engaged in something that truly matters to you. Evidence that your laziness isn't about capacity at all, it's about connection. Think about it. Have you ever been too lazy to discuss something you're passionate about? Too unmotivated to help someone you deeply care for? Too undisciplined to lose track of time doing something that fills you with purpose? Of course not. Because when spirit and action align, energy flows naturally. The path forward. Healing spiritual exhaustion isn't about better time management systems or stricter morning routines. It's about reconnection, a journey back to yourself. This journey begins with compassion. The next time you feel that familiar self-criticism about your laziness, pause. Place a hand over your heart and say, "This isn't laziness. This is my spirit telling me something important." Then listen. Ask yourself, what activities make time disappear for me? When do I feel most alive, most myself? What did I love doing before I learned to worry about being productive? Whose expectations am I trying to meet with my current path? The answers may surprise you. They may also frighten you, because reconnecting with your authentic needs might mean disappointing others or changing course entirely. But here's the truth. You cannot serve from an empty vessel. You cannot give what you don't have. And you cannot access your gifts when you're spiritually depleted. Small steps matter. Perhaps it's 10 minutes of meditation before checking your phone in the morning. Maybe it's one evening a week, dedicated to something that brings you joy without purpose. It could be setting boundaries around work hours or social obligations. Whatever form it takes, this isn't selfishness, it's sustainability. It's recognizing that your spirit, like your body, requires nourishment and care. The deeper purpose. There's something important happening in this widespread spiritual exhaustion. Perhaps it's a collective awakening, a recognition that our current way of living isn't working, that productivity without purpose leads nowhere worth going. In indigenous wisdom traditions, periods of apparent laziness were often seen as necessary fallow times, seasons of rest where the soil of the soul could be replenished. Many spiritual practices incorporate silence, solitude, and seemingly unproductive contemplation as essential elements of a well-lived life. What if your exhaustion isn't something to overcome, but something to honor? What if it's guiding you toward a more authentic expression of who you truly are? A new beginning. So tonight, as you sit in this darkness with me, I invite you to consider, what if you're not lazy at all? What if your spirit is simply asking, perhaps begging, for a different kind of nourishment? What if your worth has never been tied to your productivity, but to your presence, your authenticity, your capacity for love and connection? Rest when you need it, without guilt, without shame. Your spirit knows what it needs, and when you're ready, truly ready, not because an external schedule demands it, action will flow naturally again. Not from discipline or willpower, but from connection to what truly matters to you. If this perspective resonated with you tonight, take a moment to sit with it. Allow these words to settle into the spaces between your thoughts. And if you found value here in this darkness, consider subscribing to join our growing community of souls seeking deeper truths. Share your own experiences in the comments below. Your voice matters in this conversation. Until next time, remember, you are not your productivity. You are not your output. You are a sacred being worthy of rest, renewal, and reconnection. This is a voice in the darkness, wishing you peaceful presence wherever this finds you.